That's amazing. I didn't know that about you.
What do you know?
That you're a musician. But that's why I'm interviewing you today, so I can get to know you.
So I'm a musician. What the fuck that mean? Make magic or something? What is musician?
I think you're confusing that.
Yeah, I'm not no musician. I make music. I make music. And that's not all I do. I make music, I act. I'm a TV star too, a young mogul.
Just really quick, I think you're confusing.
I'm not confusing nothing because you don't know. You thought that all I was a magician or whatever the fuck you said.
See, that's what I think you think I said. No, I said musician, not magician.
I don't think, baby. I don't think. What is that? That's ghetto. I don't think. I know.
So you
think.
I didn't say magician, Suki. I said musician. And I think you are a musician.
No, baby. I do music.
So you just really quick. For the record, could you say you don't think you're a musician?
I'm not none of that.
But then after that, you just said I do music.
Yeah, I do music.
So, in other words, you're a musician.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Hey guys, how you going? Okay, Candace Owens here has said His Excellency Archbishop Vigano has written a statement condemning the Olympics, pointing to the fact that Brigitte Macron is a transvestite, allegedly. The mainstream apparatus, which has protected this demonic state secret, will soon collapse under the weight of its own lies. And Carlo Maria Vigano has said, statement by Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano following the sacrileges and scandals of the Paris Olympic Games. The opening ceremony of the Paris Olympic Games is only the latest in a long series of vile attacks on God, the Catholic religion and the natural morality by the anti-Christic elite that holds Western countries hostage. We had seen no less disconcerting scenes at the 2012 London Olympics, the 2016 inauguration of the Goddard Tunnel, and the 2022 Commonwealth Games featuring infernal figures, goats and terrifying animals. The elite who organise these ceremonies demand not only the right to blasphemy and obscene display of the foulest vices, but even their mute acceptance by Catholics and decent people who are forced to suffer the outrage of seeing the most sacred symbols of their faith and the very foundations of the natural law desecrated. We witnessed a dystopian dance macabre in which holograms of the horsemen of the apocalypse alternated with plump blue Dionysus served under a bell of various courses. The parody of the LGBTQ plus Last Supper in the truculent performance of a decapitated Marie Antoinette singing, oh, I can't read it, Ca era, called to celebrate the horrors of the French Revolution, the ballad of bearded transvestite and effeminate dancers accompanied by pitiful mime singers. In this provocative spectacle, Satan knows how to do nothing except ruin God's creative perfection. Oh, there you go. Oh, dear me, am I silly. Except ruin God's created perfection, showing himself as the envious author of every counterfeit. Satan creates nothing, he only ruins everything. He does not invent, he tampers. And his followers are no different. They humiliate women's femininity in order to erase the motherhood that recalls the Virgin Mother. They castrate man's manhood in order to tear from him the image of God's fatherhood. They corrupt the little ones in order to kill innocence in them and make them victims of the most abject wokeism. The opening ceremonies of the Olympic Games have given scandal not only because of the arrogant display of the ugly and obscene, but because of the infernal subversion of good and evil, the insane claim to be able to blaspheme and desecrate everything, even what is most sacred, in the name of an ideology of death, ugliness and lies that defy Christ and scandalise those who recognise him as Lord and God. It is no coincidence that the one sponsoring the revolting carnival is an emissary of the World Economic Forum, Emmanuel Macron, who passes off a transvestite as his own wife with impunity, just as Barack Obama is accompanied by a muscular man in a wig. It is the reign of mystification, of falsehood, of fiction, erected as a totem, in which man is disfigured precisely because he was created in the image and likeness of God. Tolerance cannot be the alibi for the systematic destruction of Christian society, a society by which billions of honest and hitherto silent people identify themselves. This prevarication must end, and it must end not so much and not only because it hurts the sensibilities of believers, but because it offends the majesty of God. Satan does not have the rights of God. Evil cannot be put on the same level as good, nor can lies be equated with truth. This is what our civilization is based on, a civilization that some would like to bury under the physical and moral rubble of a world in shambles. It must be made clear that the patience and forbearance of the faithful and of citizens have been exhausted, that it is no longer time to deplore but to act, even and especially when civil and religious authorities are complicit in the betrayal. It is therefore necessary for Christians to organise around the world with concrete actions. First and foremost, with the boycott of the Olympic Games and all their sponsors. It is equally necessary for companies not subservient to globalism to revoke their sponsorship contracts, and for delegations and individual athletes to withdraw from the Games, which were inaugurated under the worst auspices. We must expect and demand that those responsible for this intolerable bullying be held accountable for their actions, as well as for the corruption that also accompanies this event. Finally, the homosexual set designer who gave birth to this blasphemous and vulgar spectacle must repay the fee that Macronades charge French taxpayers. Macronides? I don't know. I urge Catholics to make reparation by prayer, fasting and penance for the outrages perpetrated against our Lord Jesus Christ and against our holy religion, and may the confident recourse of those who are good before the throne of the Most High not be divorced from general awakening of consciousness, so that the King of Kings may once more reign over nations, societies, families and the Church. And that was Carlo Maria Vigano, Archbishop. Okay, on the 28th of July 2024. So, and oh God, oh my goodness. What do you think? Huh. See, I'm not allowed to say too much here, but... Oh, that's a man. Okay, anyway. Allegedly. Okay, we'll go with that for now. DC Drano said the FBI now says they're going to interview Trump as part of their assassination investigation. This smells like a setup for the deep state's favourite weapon, an obstruction of justice charge. This is what they did with Mueller. They knew Trump was innocent of Russian collusion, but they tried to snag you on an obstruction charge during their investigation process. An insider paper says breaking FBI says Trump has agreed to be interviewed as part of an investigation into his assassination attempt. Providing an update of the status of the probe into the July 13th shooting, the Federal Bureau of Investigation officials said they've still not determined a motive for the attack by the 20-year-old gunman Thomas Matthew Crooks. Okay, well then give all the evidence to the public and watch it get solved in no time at all. My goodness, what is taking them so long? They're into the phones. There's obviously something in there. They just don't want people to know. PDB said Airbnb is a sponsor for the Olympics. They threw me out of their entire community and cancelled over 100,000 in bookings, even though I had a 4.9 rating and never discriminated against anyone. Why? Because they said I made a racist comments about a black American females here on X. Guess what? My account here was never connected with my Airbnb profile. I never posted it. They weeded through the Peters that looked like me, and a black employee took vengeance. Will Airbnb renounce what the opening ceremony did at the Olympics to Christians? Of course not. Why? Because they're a woke, sick, deranged, perverted company run by degenerates and racists. Any comment, Airbnb? How about CEO Bitchute? Do you guys want to talk Olympics and Christians? How about the bride you cancelled the day before her wedding because of what I said online, apparently? Any word? You didn't help her and I have the proof. I helped her. Lots of people in the comments asking for lists of other sponsors of the Olympics as well. Here you go, cancel them all. Coca-Cola, Airbnb, Alibaba Group, Atos, Bridgestone, Dow, GE, General Electric, Intel, Omega, Panasonic, sorry, P&G, I should know that. P&G, Samsung, Toyota and Visa. Christians need to dump Airbnb. Airbnb are also, they lock up houses too, away from renting people who want to rent. Okay, but anyway, Alexandria Marshall said France has branded itself the greenest ever Olympics, and yet the water of the Seine is too filthy to swim in. Is it Seine? I hope it's... I don't know. Plagued by violent crime, torrential downpours, balls out religious mockery, and endless failure. Is this the worst Olympics ever? Yes. One word, yes. It is. Badly. The Olympics have gone to shit. The Spectator Australia. Only in Australia would you have a title like that? No, not really. There was a time not so long ago when poodles shitting on the streets of Paris were considered to be the government's biggest cultural problem. Oh, the outrage. All those beautiful romantic areas as depicted on Hollywood billboards were full of tourists tripping over foul-smelling crap. This upper-class excrement problem was seen as a veneer of capitalist decay, a French society so rich and comfy that its pups of leisure were entitled to defile the sidewalks. Frustrated local councils tried lots of things, including public shaming, severe fines and ad campaigns about acting in the public good. But getting the French to fix the slow demise of cleanliness in their capital city has always been a struggle. The French pay tax, you see, which means someone else should pick up the shit. It's a great example of how people think an expensive big state works versus what happens in the real world. Whose streets are cleaners, community built on personal responsibility, or those who rely on the government? There's something to be said for the power of an English side-eye, scowl and eyebrow loft, which our culture inherited. Here's another lesson given to us by the dogs of Paris. In desperation, one French town has begun experimenting with a genetic passport for pooches, in which a DNA profile for dogs has been created to fine owners for shit found during council cleanups. It's digital ID for dogs. The idea was originally dropped over concerns that hampered freedom, but the post-COVID passport world has reset its ethical boundaries and people shrugged it through the approvals process. Shrugged it through? Okay. Okay, whatever has whatever. I don't know. I can't say these words. I don't know what that little touche, liberté, égalité, fraternité, I don't know, has become whatever. I can't take all this shit anymore, growled the mayor responsible for the poo passport. While it's easy to sympathise with the frustration, another layer of digital tyranny has been born to solve the problems of laziness and entitlement in the worst possible way. We make this same mistake, not with dog shit, but pretty much everything else. From education to speech, from tricky tax returns to the weather. Digital tyranny will save us. Paris never solved its dog shit problem, by the way. Instead, it has added a whole lot of new ones, including excrement floating down the Seine River. Olympic swimmers have been left to grimace at the murky water, hoping they don't pick up some disease from the Middle Ages on their way to the medal. PR is pretty bad when various officials, including the Mayor of Paris, have to jump in the water to prove it's safe for athletes. What an excellent vote for confidence of the greenest ever games. Yes, that's what they're calling it, the greenest ever games. After the city spent more than 2 years deporting third world migrants from sidewalk slums, dumping them in rural villages, Macron has not been able to hide the burnt-out cars, piles of trash, streets that look like California's zombie apocalypse, marble monuments covered in Palestinian flags, Hamas logos and the communist hammer and sickle. There are e-bikes assaulting pedestrians, and even the rats are too frightened to wander out of the sewers in case they get mugged. Is the scene cleaner and greener than Sydney Harbour, where our Olympic athletes went for a paddle? No. Our wonderful array of sharks would suffocate if they were relocated to the fishless and faithless sign. Sydney certainly... Oh my God, now I can't even talk properly because I can't pronounce one word. Sydney certainly didn't need to engage in an extensive water restoration project to make the system breathable for fish, and as far as I can recall, there were no protest groups trending I poo in the sign in response to the cleanup. The French hate Macron enough to defile their own river on the off chance it will end up on the president. There's been raw sewage flowing through the most romantic city in the world for more than 100 years, and 1.5 billion euros later, well, let's have a look at Macron after he comes out of the water. The mayor and the French sports minister could have saved themselves the flirtation with fate. Heavy downpours have forced organisers to cancel the triathlon's pre-race practice in the sign due to, wait for it, water quality concerns. Athletes hoping to familiarise themselves with the course will have to do so on Google Maps. Macron's government promised the sign would be safe, but as late as June there were unsafe levels of E. coli, and now after all the rain there's a good chance athletes will be picking bits of raw sewage out of their hair. Ooh. Macron also promised the streets of Paris would be safe. Needless to say, he failed on that promise as well, because people are getting mugged and stuff stolen and all sorts. I must admit I did have a bit of a chuckle at athletes dutifully wearing face masks to protect themselves from COVID while preparing to take a dip in the Seine. It's a bit like washing all your vegetables to get the chemicals off their skin, then dipping them in a petri dish full of salmonella. Oh well, let the games continue. That was pretty good. Okay. Ian Miles Chong said breaking Maduro secures victory in Venezuelan election amid irregularities. Armed thugs seizing voting boxes. Socialist President Nicolas Maduro declared himself the victor in Venezuela's presidential race with aims of electoral shenanigans flying faster than a Venezuelan Bolivar in a windstorm. According to Elvis Amoroso, who heads the National Electoral Council, Maduro snagged 51% of the vote, leaving opposition candidate Edmundo Gonzalez in the dust with a measly 44%. The announcement, made while the ink on the ballots was still drying a mere 6 hours after the polls closed, cited an irreversible trend based on a whopping 80% of voting stations, but the opposition, armed with exit polls that painted Gonzalez as the clear winner, are crying foul play. It's easy to turn your nation socialist, but you have to fight to get your way out of it. Okay. Who else is with me? And something is very not right here. It is really not right. He just took it by the sound of it. Okay. It's just my theory, just my opinion. It's not the fact, right? Okay, it's not facts. I don't know what the facts are yet, so we've got to wait for them. But I still think he took it. US Civil Defence News said update for the first time NATO has struck Russian territory within the Arctic Circle. Yesterday morning, NATO drones struck a Tu-22M3 strategic bomber at the Olenia Air Base. The Russian plane was destroyed. The drone was launched from NATO territory. It's only 150 kilometres away from the border with Norway and Finland. Here we go again. Well, okay, it's either Ukraine or NATO is trying to start this. But either way, they're both in it together, okay? And you back it up with a Politico EU article? Okay. Either way, NATO is in with Ukraine. They're defending them. So, yeah, there you go. Cowboy 2B said Iran, let that sink in. Iran says France should be ashamed of itself for its opening ceremony at the Olympics. The insulting representation of Jesus Christ in Paris yesterday was completely offensive and crossed all red lines. France, a country with major history of Christianity, must be ashamed of itself, and I implore our Christian people all over the world to speak out against this act. We resolutely condemn this. Interesting. Is Iran Christian? I thought, hang on, I'm maybe getting confused between Iraq and Iran. I remember the women in the 70s used to dress lovely over there. They were very elegant ladies. Oz Integrity here says Karen wants accounts removal powers. Oh, mate, you know. Let's drop her off on an island by herself and let her, be all authoritarian with herself. Australia is leading the charge to fully implement Agenda 2030 ahead of a deadline. We must demand a Bill of Rights and the removal of any government that implements UNWF agenda to remove our sovereignty. Let's have a little listen.
One power that I would love would be to have an account removal power for this whole idea of repeat offenders. There are other things we're looking at around notification powers, around recidivism. So one of the biggest problems we see that the companies are failing to tackle is the mass creation of fake and imposter accounts, which are largely used for any kind of social engineering scam, but particularly we're seeing it in the context of sexual extortion and potentially deep fakes. I mean, we've sent intelligence reports to some of the platforms saying, we're seeing about 10,000 of the same image used in all these fake accounts. And here are some scripts of, you know, would you like to have a sexy chat is a pretty basic one. They could use some natural language processing to tackle, and they're just not doing it.
I wonder if that's only the right side of the bots. What about the left side of the bots where they all say exactly the same thing? I wonder if she'd go find them and go after them at all. Somehow, I highly doubt it. Dan Bongino said, important, the Secret Service scandal is about to get a lot worse. Apparently, Secret Service counter-sniper assets were routinely denied to the USSS Donald Trump detail if the locations weren't within driving distance of Washington, D.C. This is a shocking piece of information that Acting Director Ron Rowe should immediately resign. Sorry, that's my thought. Should immediately have an answer for. A trusted whistleblower sent this shocking piece of information during my show on Rumble yesterday. You can watch the show here if you'd like to. Yeah, look, I honestly go and see Dan Bongino on Rumble. I honestly do think, yeah, something, because it's getting weirder again, okay? It's just getting weirder again. John Cullen said, do you see what, Gerald? Do you see what I see? Pretty sure I do. Is that what I think it is? Uh-oh. Oh, look. There seems to be flashing from the window. What is the pinpoint light source and flash from window 3 at 24 seconds on the timeline? Right there. Huh. Pretty interesting, isn't it? How long does this go for? 1 minute 54. Let's have a look. Oh, no. No, it's not a video. Small clip of the hour's worth of footage I have from the fence line. Real DJ Stew 724. Can't read the rest of it because this thing's in front of it. Okay, from Real DJ Stew 724. Okay, so that's where it's coming from. Hang on. Let me just play it. Hopefully it's not too loud.
Make yourself small, bro. I don't know what's going on.
Make yourself small. Over here. Over here. Huh. Oh, okay, let's go again.
Make yourself small, bro. I don't know what's going on.
You can't see anything, but like, but because he's shaking, and I would be too. I'd be shitting myself. Anyway, I'd be on the ground, laying down flat, as flat as I could get. I'd probably be trying to sink into the grass about this time. Anyway, someone took a still shot from the shaking video, and this is what happened. What they saw. Anyway, I don't know. Gerald Allen Dole said, I believe I was the first to see the light in Dave's video. J.D. Rucker, you might want to add this crucial discovery to your storyline. Cheadle did say there were FBI agents inside the building, says the right side of history. Huh. Very interesting. Okay, then we have this from Omnicentrist, Microchip 1984. Microchip ID 1984, sorry. Australia has the oil, but they won't let you buy it locally refined. Who owns these offshore refineries? Imagine just the savings on shipping if we went back to refining our own oil. And this sign says, domestic oil is the new ivermectin, and you can't have it because it would resolve the crisis they need you to go through. That's about right. Colin Rugg said breaking leaked messages between counter-snipers reveal they were aware of Thomas Crooks about 90 minutes before Trump was nearly assassinated now. Are we going to get to like they knew about him a week before? Is that where we're going to get to? Because this just keeps getting longer and longer. Yeah, one of the counter-snipers was reportedly leaving at the end of his shift when he noticed Crooks. Someone followed our leads and snuck in and parked by our cars, just so you know. I'm letting you know because you see me go out with my rifle and put it in my car, so he knows you guys are up there. A text chat obtained by the New York Times read, kid learning around the building we're in, lurking, leaning, I don't know. AGR, I believe it is. I did see him with a rangefinder looking towards the stage. FYI, if you want to notify SS snipers to look out. I lost sight of him. A text in the group chat said, which is when the photo of Crooks was shared, which is this one here. Kid learning around building we are lurking. AGR, I believe it is. I did see him with a rangefinder looking towards stage. FYI, if you want to notify snipers to look out. I lost sight of him. Also a bike with backpack sitting next to it in rear of building that was not seen earlier. Libby Emmons said, don't listen to what she said, read it, and then let me know your takeaway, okay? You ready for this? I'm not going to play it because it's really, really faint. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to read it to you. Okay, bear with me. I had to get comfortable to be able to read this word salad. This is what Kamala said. I am meeting with a lot of folks, and the work that we have begun is the work that is going to be ongoing. There is no question, and I said this from the beginning, that our approach to this issue has to be with a commitment to long-term investment, and it has to be a commitment to consistency. The United States has to be consistent. On what? Okay, anyway, there were times when we were more engaged and we saw good results, less engaged, and we can see where the work and the partnerships then deteriorate. So I'm committed to ensuring that we engage in an active way on the root causes, on addressing the cause and effect, and also being partners in the Western Hemisphere, understanding that we have a responsibility, and if we ignore that responsibility, it will visit itself upon us in a very domestic way. What exactly the hell is she talking about? They've begun the work that is going to be ongoing. Yeah, well, most work is. What work have you begun? What on what? For one thing, right? This is why word salad. They're not saying anything, right? It's just a bunch of words put together to sound good, but doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. There is no question, and I said this from the beginning, that our approach to this issue, what issue, has to be with a commitment to long-term investment and has to be a commitment to consistency. The United States has to be consistent. On what issue is she talking about? She's not telling you what issues. She's just saying a bunch of words, like I said. There were times when we were more engaged and we saw good results, less engaged, and I can see where the work and partnerships then deteriorate. On what? Yes, when people don't work together, less engaged, yes, they deteriorate, yes, the partnerships do. But on what is she talking about? So she's committed to ensuring that she engages in a very active way on the root causes. List them. I'd like to see what the root causes are. On addressing the cause and effect and also being partners in the Western Hemisphere. With who? What's she talking about? Understanding that we have a responsibility, and if we ignore that responsibility, it will visit itself upon us in a very domestic way. What's she talking? Is she talking about war? Libby said, I believe she believes she's talking about immigration. Well, it'd be nice if we knew exactly what she was talking about. And then people can, like, argue against that, whatever. But there's nothing there. It's just air. There's hot air. She's not saying anything about anything. Oh, my God. How frustrating. Okay, relax. Health Ranger said, I'm getting intel from a couple of different sources today that indicate the chaos inside the DNC is far from over, and Camilla is very likely not going to be their final candidate. Others who are far more ambitious and who have even more blackmail material are jockeying for position right now and plotting the removal of Kamala, who has plenty of historical dirt herself. If this fails, be ready for an all-out activation of embedded enemy combatants who illegally crossed into the USA and are awaiting orders to carry out sabotage chaos operations. The Dems absolutely will not go peaceful into Election Day unless they already have it rigged with absolute certainty, and presently they're nowhere near that threshold, so expect chaos. Anyway, just keep your eyes open, no fear. George said, breaking in what will be known as the biggest election fraud in history, the Venezuelan National Electoral Council just declared Nicolas Maduro the winner. And again, Vince Langman said, seriously, what the fuck did Emmanuel Macron marry? It's really weird. Is a wig too big? I don't know, her head seems too big for her. Her legs are so skinny. I don't know. What is wrong with this picture? It looks like she's been shrunk. I've got no idea. It looks funny. I don't know why. The shoulders too wide. I don't know. Maybe the hair? Someone tell me. It's a man. Okay, Nick Sauter just said, just in Paris Olympics 2024 organisers have now apologised for their blasphemous opening ceremonies. And why would they do that? Because they're losing money, of course. Clearly there was never an intention to show disrespect to religious group. Any religious group, the opening ceremony, tried to celebrate community tolerance, the organisers said. We believe this ambition was achieved, even if people have taken any offence, we're really sorry. Well, I don't think you tried to celebrate community tolerance. I think what you just did was show how we are not tolerant with this garbage in our faces. We believe this ambition was achieved. If people have taken any offence, we are really sorry. Talk about a half-assed apology. Well, this is not an apology at all. The opening ceremony tried to celebrate community tolerance, the organisers said. No, we don't have tolerance when it's shoved in our faces and disrespected the church like that. No. Joey Mate said, now, why is this not being done in Australia? Bo and Chris, covering parking lots with solar panels is a hell of a lot more sensible than plastering them over prime agricultural land. This is a better idea. Then everyone gets shady parking. Well, to an extent you do, unless you're out here on this part. Most people will have some shade while they're parking. And the supermarket or whatever it is, the shopping centre, could be powered by this shit. I don't like it at all. Sorry, I do not like solar power. Unless they could make it compact into a little thing and not have all these shining black things all over your roof. I don't know. I don't know. Mark PG said Labor are slumping in the polls but will be kept in power because stupid people will vote for Greens and Teals. If you don't think Australia can get any worse, you try voting for the Greens and the Teals and oh my God, we're all dead. Okay, then Australia will sink to a depth that it will never recover from. A country run by unions and extremists. Now let me tell you, if you don't think Australia can get any worse, if these people get in, we're sunk. We're gone. Completely. Bye-bye. Sell out to the UN. All this a lot worse than what it is. Oh, God help us. Laura Loomis said tonight at his rally in Minnesota, President Trump said although there were mistakes made by Secret Service, he wants people to know that the agents who jumped on top of him were brave and willing to give their life for him. He made a point to focus on the female Secret Service agent, who was lambasted because she wasn't tall enough to shield Trump, and I was one of the biggest ones. Trump said she isn't tall, but she was willing to take a bullet for him. No, I get that. I do get that, and good on her, like seriously. I would have too, but I'm only 5'2", and I don't think I could save Trump, but I'd probably try. But anyway, Trump said people shouldn't attack the agents who saved his life. Okay, fair enough. I shouldn't have, right? But she isn't. Like, it's like me trying to be Secret Service for Trump. I'd throw myself at him and try and shield him too, but I don't think I'd be good enough. I really don't. So anyway, there you go. God love her. I really, look, all the Secret Service agents who tried to shield Trump, it's their job, fair enough. Big ups for them, you know. But, yeah, it's not with the human shields, it's with the bureaucrats in the department. That is the problem. Like I said, I would jump in front of Trump to try and stop it, but, yeah, I mean, I'm only 5'2", if that. So, like a lot of good I would do. I try, but a lot of good I would do, seriously. I don't think, yeah, you know my thoughts on that. I agree with him, we shouldn't be going at her, but it's just that it was stupid to put someone so short. Sorry. The opinionated black woman auntie said, what the does that even mean? 6 News Australia said, breaking Anthony Albanese appoints Labor MP Peter Khalil as Special Envoy for Social Cohesion. What the hell is Special Envoy for Social Cohesion? Peter Khalil is a deep thinker, Anthony Albanese says while announcing him as the new Special Envoy for Social Cohesion. This is another bureaucratic job for no reason, okay? Just to give his mates a job because he owes someone something, I betcha.
Peter Khalil will have the resources across government, both of the Department of Home Affairs, Immigration Area, Multicultural Affairs, but also of Prime Minister and Cabinet. I want him reporting directly to me about social cohesion and its importance. So Peter is a deep thinker, and he's someone who has a broad range of experience both here and internationally, and he'll bring that to the role. Peter Khalil...
I don't think you got social cohesion, mate, and I don't think you're going to get it either. Oh, no, that's not the one I wanted to like. Hang on. Yeah, what the... I don't even know what that... Yeah. Okay, anyway, I think they're going to try and bring Muslims and the rest of Australia together. I don't know. That's social cohesion? I don't know. Dr. Tamitha Skov said with at least 3, if not 4, Earth-directed solar storms launched earlier today, this is sure to be the icing on the cake. It may not be as intense as the Gannon storm back on May 10th, but this compression of multiple back-to-back storms has at least G3, if not G4 level potential, waiting for coronagraphs and model prediction runs. Vincent Ledvina said this has to be a direct hit. M9.9 flare looks like it generated a pretty nice coronal wave and likely a halo CME and a coronagraph imagery. Now we await models and charge the camera batteries. As always, nothing is confirmed until we get it at L1, but I feel good about this. Are we ready for another blackout? It's the next one. Into thin air said blackouts are coming. Yeah, and then Benny Johnson posted, massive power outage hits Paris. One of the only things in light, the church. I can't say it. Why can I not? Okay, I'm going to have to learn to speak bloody French and Italian and I don't know, all these other languages. So I can read these things. Snarky Stano said, wait, what? Now, if this doesn't make you a conspiracy theorist, I don't know what will. Tony Suruga said FBI previously owned, it was sold at government auction. The shipping container linked to the explosives found in the van crooks had. What is interesting is the same shipping container used by Timothy McVeigh, Terry Nichols, Michael Fortier, etc. Tony Suruga said, crooks did not assemble the bombs, but we're getting close to knowing who did. The link to Arizona, the van, and actually an odd tip that led to a shipping container once used by Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols located in Kingman, Arizona. Wow. If this is correct, well, yeah, there you go. Templar said who had BlackRock CEO Larry Fink and the shooter with a rifle on their bingo card. Not me, because that's what I showed you the other day. I didn't even click to it. So unless this has been edited, this is Larry Fink and the guy. What are they doing together? What is going on there? Huh. Pretty interesting. Guys, I've got a whole lot to say. Anyway, I'll let you tell me what you think about this down below. I didn't even realise the other day when I showed this picture that was Larry Fink, because it's blurry. Senator Babbitt said whether you believe in the teachings of Jesus Christ or not, know this. The satanic globalists believe in him and they're afraid of him. It is for this reason they spend so much time and effort denigrating him and his teachings. Understand this fact, Jesus is the one true king. If you are not a believer, you'd better start believing, because the people that control the world from the shadows, the people that know him well, the people that hate you, they believe. The world is not controlled by your elected politician. They are merely puppets dancing on a string. And by the way, I'd never kill myself. The satanic globalists believe in Jesus Christ. It's why they spend so much time trying to destroy him. Yes, stay safe, Senator Babbitt. Okay, and I'm going to go into that another time. Other got to get folders together of bit of a handy book thing, you know, and Marina Abramovic, some spirit cooking, some other stuff that I'll be doing probably on Rumble. The way things are going here, I don't know. But this recording now will be going up on both Rumble and YouTube. It'll be the same video. Okay, guys, much love. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.